It starts with a crash that ran through the stadiums like a lightning strike, cleats cutting into flesh and turf, stands groaning with tension, and a ball that decides the fate of two bodies in mere seconds. This was an era where courage was paid for with pain, and respect only emerged when you stayed standing while everything around you exploded. And amidst this storm, men were formed whose brutality was not scorned, but idolized. Here are the 7 players who transformed violence into worship, and now we open chapter number 1. Top 1, Roy Keane. He was the pulsating center of Manchester United, a captain who not only led games but dominated them, as if he commanded the turf itself. His titles stacked up like layers of steel, his tackles cut through the field like cold blades, and every statistic about ball recoveries or duels won seemed to be from another reality. Keane didn't need a show. He only needed the moment when the stadium fell silent for a breath before he rewrote order with a tackle. But the eerie thing about him was never the hardness itself, but the precision. Modern tracking data dissects his movements in microseconds and reveals angles that shouldn't really exist. Timing like a mechanical impulse that emerges before a human reflex and detonates at the perfect moment. In an era where speed and chaos merge, he was the controlled explosion, an equation of power, rage, and mathematical precision. Now he sits in studios under harsh light, arms crossed, eyes sharp as they were back then, and every word he speaks feels like an invisible duel no one can win. The aura has remained, only the stadium's roar has changed. The man behind it has not. He was the storm that knew where it would strike. Top 2, Gennaro Gattuso. He was the burning heart of AC Milan, an engine that never extinguished, even when the game was racing at its highest pulse and every tackle smelled of iron. On big Champions League nights, he hunted across the pitch like a force of nature that knew no fatigue and accepted no retreat. His tackling stats, his interceptions, his endless kilometers run formed a profile that less resembled a classic midfielder and more a hunter who could track his opponent even in the dark. But the Gattuso enigma only begins when modern data dissects his movements. Sudden acceleration peaks, clusters of short, explosive sprints that lie outside normal patterns, almost like a faulty graph that still works perfectly. His intensity wasn't emotion, it was physics, condensed into a force that discharges at the right moment and devours spaces before the opponent even realizes what they're missing. Today he stands on the sideline, the arena lights drawing a sharp profile around his silhouette, and his gaze seems to be there only for an invisible duel, ready to break loose again at any time. The applause has grown quieter, yet his energy still hangs in the air, heavy like metal. He didn't run, he ignited the game. Top 3, Pepe. He was the invisible crack in every opponent's attack, a defender who not only won tackles, but dismantled entire offensive lines before they even found structure. At Real Madrid, he became the focal point of a defensive system that held up in Europe's biggest battles because he condensed the air between ball and opponent until every step felt like a risk. His tackles, his blocks, his interceptions yield statistics that seem like a collection of anomalies. Too fast, too early, too precise. And this is where the eerie part begins. Modern tracking analyses show that Pepe anticipated moments of decision half a second before the actual attack, as if he saw a shadow others didn't notice. His body works at angles that contradict classical defensive mechanics, yet the curves perfectly fit a defender who doesn't stop the storm, but redirects it until it dies out. Today, as an experienced veteran, he moves more calmly, almost ritually, and the arena lights draw lines across a face that has seen more battles than any match report could ever capture. Fans see him not as a relic, but as a symbol of control amidst chaos. He didn't defend, he extinguished possibilities. Top 4, Vinnie Jones. He was the raw pulse of the crazy gang, a player who transformed every stadium into a metallic, echoing cage as soon as he made the first tackle. His fouls carried a force that wasn't explained but felt, and his presence made even seasoned strikers instinctively breathe slower. Jones was no technician, no tactician. He was a physical constant, a wall of muscle and determination that didn't just stop opposing attacks but shattered them. Statistics about his tackling ferocity, His cards, his interruptions, paint the profile of a man who didn't play the field, but controlled it like a border guard. But modern biomechanical analyses reveal another secret. His tackles functioned like energy absorption, mass against momentum, a physical process that brought opponents to an abrupt halt because he absorbed the impact like a stoic block. This uncanny combination of mass, timing, and fearlessness made him the heartbeat of a team that found its identity in chaos. Today, he stands in the spotlight of film sets, light breaking in his gaze like a film noir scene, and the shadow of his earlier days follows him with an authority no script can invent. Fans see him not as an actor, but as a continuation of a force that once made football tremble. He wasn't a defender, he was the wall where courage was tested. Top 5. Sergio Ramos. He was the defender who blew the game forward, a man who not only stopped attacks, but decided finals, as if they belonged to a private duel between him and gravity. His goals, many of them in moments when stadiums became cathedrals of pure noise, stand like engraved marks in the chronicles of Real Madrid. Head-to-head duels that pushed physical limits, tackles that overturned the rhythm of entire games, and a presence that forced opponents to control not only the ball, but also their courage. Yet only modern movement analyses reveal the true enigma of Ramos, a jumping curve that rises at an illogical angle, almost like a magnetic pull that keeps him in the air longer than he should be. His acceleration in the final step seems like a short circuit in the pattern of normal biomechanics, an ignition beyond the rule that grants him those iconic split seconds where time obeys. Today, as a global veteran, he wears his silence like armor. The light over his face draws lines of a career forged from steel, scars, and triumph. Fans see him not as a controversy, but as an archetype of the modern warrior who defies logic. He didn't just rise higher, he forced the air to carry him. Top 6. Marco Materazzi. He was the defender who not only destroyed games, but redefined them in the heat of battle. A colossus in an inner jersey whose tackles traveled through the entire field like tectonic shocks. His tackling statistics, his aerial duels, his presence in his own penalty area created a gravitation that forced the opponent to rethink every decision twice. World champion, symbol of a defense that didn't just defend, but punished. Materazzi was the man who didn't waver in decisive moments, but truly began. Yet modern analyses reveal the core of his myth. He worked not only with force, but with psychological precision. Tracking data of his movements and reactions reveal patterns resembling an invisible pressure wave. He provoked spaces, emotions, even misjudgments by reaching the opponent's mental burden before their body. A kind of tactical manipulation that you feel before you understand it. Today, he frequently appears at public events, half smiling, half lurking, as if carrying the memory of every battle like a soft echo. Under spotlights, his profile emerges like the contour of a man who knew that power must be precise, not loud. He didn't play hard, he played with the opponent's nerve fibers. Your top 7, Diego Simeone. He was the midfielder who didn't fear chaos but controlled it, a conductor of bone and instinct who led every game like a struggle for interpretive authority. His tackling rates, his ball recoveries, his tactical finesse formed the silhouette of a man who not only survived in the heat of a match, but recognized the pattern of the battle. Simeone moved as if he saw the pitch from another dimension, a plane where every shift, every pass, every disturbance had a predictable rhythm. And modern data confirms this feeling. His pressing triggers follow patterns that seem planned seconds in advance, an algorithmic gaze that combines attack and counterattack like chess moves before the opponent realizes they are even playing. His body worked not only with strength, but with stimulus signals that ran like electrical impulses through the team, transforming them into synchronized machines. Today, he stands on the sidelines in a black suit, a statue under electricity, the atmosphere around him pulsating like before a thunderstorm. His presence forces even the camera to discipline. For every glance, every gesture carries the sharpness of a man who never changed the war, only the shape of the battlefield. He didn't fight in the game, he changed the temperature of the room. When the final whistle sounds, the echo of an era remains, an era where courage and pain shaped football and every duel wrote a piece of history. These men left scars that run deeper than the turf itself, and their traces still vibrate today in every stadium light. If you want to continue this journey, then let us know. Share your thoughts in the comments, support the video with a like, and join us by subscribing to the channel. Some legends don't end. They grow with everyone who carries them forward.